On set right now, we have Mrs. Trisha Branford. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm okay.
Welcome to
Blessed
Sunday
and
morning.
favored.
Definitely. Welcome to Sunday Morning Live, Trisha.
Yes.
So you're going to be telling us a little bit about your testimony. But before you do that, I'm going to ask you about how you heard about Greater Works International Fellowship.
Well, actually, I was at home, very ill. Well, I took it simple because I thought it was a flu I was having. But then I realized that 2 weeks has passed and I'm not getting any better. So I went to the doctor and they sent me to KPH. I was admitted there for 2 days and they couldn't find any complaints. So they sent me back home with painkillers. And I was there with feet well swell, couldn't walk. Until a friend of mine from the church introduced me to the church and said I should come, in which I went the first night and a person didn't pick me up that night and I was like, why this man didn't pick me up? And I went home and crying for the pain and I went there. Then other day, and I went, Apostle had prophesied and said there's someone here in a wheelchair, and he called me up and he was prophesying to me and telling me that I've been attacked by 7 dark forces, in which he prophesied over my life. I got my healing there and then I could have walked from the wheelchair for 3 months. I could not have walked, and there and then I walked. And I just want to give God thanks for Apostle, that he has brought that wisdom through him and that strength and that power, that he will be able to heal me, and that I'm here today, can stand on my feet to say yes, I can walk.
So you were in a wheelchair, couldn't walk at all?
No.
And how long was this happening?
For 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah.
So were you visiting the hospital intermittently?
I just went there once and they gave me painkillers to be taken.
Also, they basically left you for death?
Right.
All right. So can you tell us what Apostle said to you when he was prophesying over your life?
He told me that there was 7 dark forces.
Right.
And that they were sent, I don't remember the actual word that he used, but they were sent to suck me out. And that my husband should see my condition, and that it will mad him and then suck him out.
Right now, in your wife in the chair, there is a force engulfing her entire body, causing pain. It's a sucking ghost, or what we call a sucking spirit. It attacks the knees, the ankles, the joints, the neck, the behind the ears, the head. It feels like fire. This thing wants to suck you and then suck him. This is the punishment. They want to suck you first, then let what he sees with you affect him to the point that it mad him.
Okay, so it was meant for not only you, for your husband as well. Right. So it was like a death sentence on your family.
Right. He has tried to tell me everything of what was going on, and he has talked to my husband as well and tell him what was happening in his life, of what causes all of this to be happening. And he already prophesied over his life as well. And all the curses and everything that was sent has to go, and it did go.
And you walked out of the wheelchair.
I walked out of the wheelchair. As he said, he didn't even touch me. He just said, he just told the ministers to anoint me with oil, and as they did, he asked me if I was feeling any pain. And when I shook my hands, because I couldn't clap my hands overall, because as I went like this, it just pain. So when I feel my hands, I'm not feeling any pain, and I'm saying no pain, and I feel my feet, no pain. So I just get up and I start working, and I give God thanks, because this is a miracle.
It is indeed a miracle. It is indeed. All right. So how has your process been since that? Because you're still in church, right? You're still at Greater Works.
I'm still in church.
So how has your process been since all of that?
Well, I was to say this, after I got my healing from the wheelchair, I was there at home and everything was like back to normal, because I take back the time when I was walking and everything.
Right.
Still, I was feeling some pain. And I went to the doctor and they told me that they see like I have sugar. And I said, sugar, but there's no sugar in my family. And they said, you need to do some blood tests, because whenever I pass urine, they said they test it and they see that my protein level is very high.
Okay.
So when I did the blood test now, it shows that there was no sugar in my blood. And I said, nobody but God. I said, God, if you had taken me from that wheelchair, what else can you not do?
Right.
So when I see that the sugar is not there, and I said, God, the devil lose again.
True.
He lose again.
True.
And after being there and strong and able and everything going well for me, very perfect for me now, then I started feeling some pain in my sides.
Yes.
And I went there to the doctor and I explained to them they said me to do an ultrasound.
Right.
When I went in to do it, they said that my kidneys were losing fluid, and they put me on medication.
Yes.
And I was there taking the medications, and I was like, what is this happening to me? And I said, God, I know you did not put me on this earth to walk back on my feet, showing the world that you have done something great for me, to bring me back into another condition again.
Yes.
And I was praying and I lit up my faith, and I remember each and every words that Apostle used in the church. And I said, God, I'm living by my faith and I'm living by Apostle words. And I prayed and prayed and prayed, and I cancel and I command things to go. And I was there on the medication because I said, I'm not going to take them to come off of you because the doctor didn't say come off. But I'm not going to say to myself that I have kidney problems.
Right, right.
I'm canceling in the name of Jesus.
Right.
So I was there until another thing come up again where they said me to do a pap smear. And I went and I did it, and it showed that I have abnormal cells. And they said I have to do a biopsy. And I went and did the biopsy, and they said that it's scene 2, and I have to do a healeth. And I did the healeth, and it was still scene 2. But they said I should do back a pap smear, but unfortunately, I didn't get to do the pap smear because I found out I was pregnant, which I said to my doctor, and he was so disappointed in me, upset, and said, imagine you have a kidney issue and you went and get pregnant. And I said, God, what is this now? I said, God, you're a miracle working God.
True.
And I remember praying to him and said, God, my husband wants a child, and with a kidney problem, I should not have a child. And if you believe that this child is going to take my life, if I do have a child, then you, God, should take it back. And I prayed and I said, God, I'm believing in you and my faith in you, not the doctor. It's not what the doctor says, it's what you, God, said.
Yes.
And my baby, she's here. Because he was saying that he don't think she's going to make it, but indeed she did make
alive.
it.
What was the hardest part of your struggle when you had the illness?
There was no friends. Because when I look and I said to my husband that, imagine I was baptized a Christian, a backslide. I was out there partying with a lot of friends, and I took sick. Nobody come to my house look for me. Not even to say, how are you doing? Not even drink a cup of water. And I said, I don't think I have any friends. It wasn't easy. My mother have to do everything for me, bathe me after being passing feces on the bed and everything in pan and stuff. It was very rough, and person in my community who I used to be around, they were all scorning me and looked down on me and said, she's going to dead and dead. Everybody just write me off right here. But right now, when they see the goodness that God has done for me and the church that I've get blessed in, that is Greater Works International Fellowship, everyone in my community right now need to know where that church is. And right now, many of them are at the church. Some come to spy, as to tell you the truth, and some really want that ministry, to that healing that I've got. There was points where I really give up. I said, Mommy, I'm going to die. And I remember when my daughter came there, and I said, Mommy, just call all of them. And I look at them and say, look here. No matter what, I love you. I do love you. And they start crying. And at a point when it's like, I feel like every air on my body just leaving. And I said, Mommy, this is it.
So what did your mother say when you said to her, Mommy, listen, no, this is it. I'm going to throw in the towel, this is it.
She started crying and then she started praying, and she was there trying to comfort me in everything. And she was saying, you're not going to die, you're not going to die. And I said, Mommy, I feel like I'm going to die. I really feel like I'm going to make it. And honestly, she was there for me. She gave me the strength.
We're going to bring your husband and your daughter on set a little bit from now, but before we go to that short break, I'm going to ask you to encourage somebody that is out there. The doctors may have given them over to death, or the doctors may have given them a sentence to say, guess what? This is what is happening in your body, and we can do nothing about it. I want you to give them, based on what you've seen, based on what you've heard, based on what you've been through, based on the miracles that are probably still taking place in your life. Just encourage our internet audience. Somebody might be out there listening and maybe they're thinking, oh my God, today is my last day. You, Trisha, I want you to encourage them.
It's not about getting the healing. Because if you're getting the healing and you're going by all you're saying, it's not going to happen. If you plan to come to give your life to God and surrender everything to Him, He will heal you and bring you from whatever problems you have. It's not an easy road to be a Christian. I'm not going to tell anybody that it's easy. It's not easy. But you have to fight. A lot of attacks will come onto you, but you have to learn to fight. Do not give up. Do not give up. There's a God that's above that looking down. And God says that He will heal us from all our sickness and diseases if we put our faith and trust in Him. It's not what man says or what doctor says. It's what your faith lies in. Just get that olive oil, get it blessed, and use that olive oil, whatever the situation is. If you even to drink a cup or a cork of it with some water or whatever, or anoint that area that you're feeling pain or whatever, and believe in your faith that you are healed, and indeed you are healed.
Wow. I couldn't have said it better. Mrs. Trisha Branford, one of the members here at Greater Works International Fellowship, doctors gave her over to death. They couldn't find out what was happening. She was here at the church, apostle prophesied, she started walking, she's now healed, and she's a living, moving, walking testimony. I couldn't have said it much better. We're going to be taking a short break, and when we get back, we're going to be speaking with her husband and her daughter. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to Sunday Morning Live. We're going to jump right into it. Mrs. Branford was giving her side of the testimony earlier, and her husband and daughter, Miracle, is here on set with us. Sir Branford, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Sunday Morning Live.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we're just going to jump right into it. Trisha gave us her side of the testimony, but I want you to tell us what happened from your perspective in terms of when she started feeling sick, when you went to the hospital with her, when they sent her home. Just tell us your side of the story, sir.
Oh, well, it was a lot. Because at the time when she was getting sick, we didn't take it for anything. She was just start feeling weak and all of those things. And going to the hospital back and forth. Like we bring her there and she there for a couple of days, and we bring her home, we have to bring her back. And there's nothing that the doctor can do about it. So it was a lot of stress on us,
Right.
which I take it, but I don't show it. Only when I reach like to work, that's when I show it.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know, I'm really happy that we overcome all of that.
So how did you hear about GWIF?
Well, I heard about GWIF from a friend that come here, Darrell Collins.
Okay.
He was always inviting me because I know him through work. And he was always inviting all members, staff. And I decided to take a step and come. And it was really good because when my wife get really sick and we don't know what to do. And I talked to him and let him know what happened, and he said we should come, and we decided to come. And I think from that day it was relieving to see the miracle that happened right there in the church when my wife get out of the wheelchair. Because it was a lot to take in, knowing that she was going through all those pain night and day. And we couldn't take it.
So, Sir Branford, how did you, I know you said it was a lot to take in, but how did you handle it? Because for somebody that you're married to, somebody that you're seeing every day, you know that she was up and running, and then based on what she said earlier, she was isolated. She was if she wanted to defecate, she would do that on the bed. If she wanted to urinate, she would do that on the bed. How you took in all of this? You might not have been showing her the emotions, but tell me some of the things that you did.
Oh, well, some of the things that I did, I couldn't, knowing the situation that she was in, I couldn't cry right in front of her.
Okay.
Sometimes I even have work. I have to be at work like 8 o'clock, and sometimes at 12 o'clock I'm getting to work because my boss understands the situation and everything. She was there with us also. She played a part in our life also. So she never give me a hard time knowing that I'm reaching work late or anything like that. But I didn't cry in front of her, but when I'm at work, I shed a lot of tears.
Tell us a little bit about what transpired with the baby.
Oh, it was that was another stage when the doctor was telling her that she couldn't have another baby because we tried before we were married and she lost the baby and they were telling her that she must not try to have another child because it can kill her. Which I took it hard knowing that, oh, I'm going to marry to her and I really cannot have a next child, but I didn't really pay that in mind because the love I have for her. I just want to have our life together. But we end up try again, although they said it couldn't happen. And even in her pregnancy, it was a lot the same way. Because it's like the doctor them was questioning her, why did you get pregnant again? And knowing all, there was blood issue, and they were even saying that she had sugar. I was wondering why so much? All different type of sickness just coming her way. I even sit down and say, Father God, if I could bear some of her pain for her. So it was really hard.
Trisha, what were some of the struggles that you had, knowing that doctors said you had diabetes, doctors said you had kidney issues? What were some of the struggles you had when you were pregnant?
Well, in the first trimester, I was having this normal pregnancy issues where I couldn't eat certain things as mothers normally do.
Right.
But I eat fruits and a lot of water, which was very good for my body and the baby. But the second semester now is where I saw a lot of bumps came up on my skin and they start itching and they turn to spots and stuff. And I was kind of worried at one point, but I researched it on the internet and I realized that the baby does all of those stuff.
Okay.
Until the third semester now where I had sleepless night now because every second muscle contract wake me from my sleep. So I have to be walking up and down in the house every minute, can't sleep in peace. Day and night I've been going through it. Until when she was 8 months, 2 weeks, I took in having pain, which I was born the 10th of March and she born the 11th of March.
Oh, okay.
So she gave me a belated birthday gift.
Right.
And she was at Victoria Jubilee Hospital for 5 days in the incubator. But they have to be on the machine,
right,
giving her oxygen because she couldn't breathe off her own. Until they sent me home with her after the 5 days, and I went back 2 weeks after to see the pediatrician, and she said that if I noticed that she's breathing short, and I said, I thought because she's a premature baby, that's why she'd been breathing like that. And she said, no, you need to go to the Boston Mental Hospital with her and get an appointment for them to check on her heart and see what's going on. So when I went there, they tested her and they said, I need to go and do an x-ray on her immediately. And when I did the x-ray, they said that her heart was enlarged, that it took up all her chest. So they had to admit her right away. They didn't send her back home. And she was there for 8 days.
So how did you go through all of this knowing that, based on what the doctor said, what was going through your mind?
Well, I was there and every morning I went there and I said to them, what is going on? And it's like they don't want to give me any information. So I was being worried and I said, why can't I get any information about my baby? What is happening to her? They're not saying anything. They said, I have to ask the doctor. When the doctor came, they said, I'm not the one in charge. I've asked the doctor that is in charge for her. And I was like, okay then, so how am I going to get information? You're not the doctor that is in charge for her. The nurses can't give me any information. And how can I know what's happening to my baby? And I went there one morning and I said to one nurse that she was so nice. I said, nurse, from I'm coming here, I can't find out what's happening to my baby. I need to know what's happening to the baby. And they said that she has to do x-ray again. They have to do the heart test on her, that's ECG. And from there, they will tell me what is what, and they're waiting on some blood result from her. And I said, okay. Then I went another morning again and I saw bandage in her back and I was saying, why is this bandage in her back? They said they did a spinal on her because meningitis was going around, so then they need to test her and all that.
Okay.
And tears fell from my eyes because I'm saying she's so young.
Yes.
She's going through a lot right now. There's still a mark on her feet, right here where they have the needle. She still don't grow it out.
Okay.
It was very stressing, and I've been to and fro there for her, because every time they give me an appointment for her to do the art test, and I wait there, they putting me off, giving me a different appointment again. She still do the ECG, but she have the main art test to do next year, January, which they give her to do. And the pediatrician was upset because they said, if something wrong with her heart, why didn't they give her such a far appointment?
Right.
But I said no. I remember one Sunday morning I was coming to church and Apostle was there, and I don't remember the exact things that he said, but I remember he said that command these things, person with heart issues, with kidney problems and all that, and I rest my hand on my baby. And I said, God, whatever Apostle is saying right here, I know my baby has a heart condition, as the doctor said.
Yes.
I have no proof of that, but you are God, and you are the healer, and you are going to heal my baby from this heart condition, because she is going to be healed in the name of Jesus. And I don't see her breathing short anymore. They said they're still hearing murmuring in her stomach, but her breathing is okay. And I trust nobody but God. And I know that in January coming, she'll be doing the art test, and it will show a positive result.
So Branford, how you feel? You wanted a child, and now the child finally is here by a miracle, and then she was going through all of this. What was going through your mind?
Well, there was a lot still going through my mind over it, knowing that she have to go through so much. But I know that I have to take it up in hand and just try to be strong, because as them say, be the man. You have to be the strong one. So I have that pressure on me, but I always have to be strong for them, for everyone, which I always have to do. But behind their backs, I cried and everything. But I thank God for letting her come through everything now.
I'm going to backtrack a little bit, Sir Branford. What was going through your mind when you saw Apostle prophesying to your wife? You know that she's been going through all of the situations that she was going through for over 3 months. And then within seconds, when you brought her up in the wheelchair, an Apostle was there prophesying to her, and when he said, get up out of the chair, what was going through your mind there and then?
Well, before he even do all of that, just pushing her in the wheelchair, bringing her up in the hallway, I was very nervous. I was start shaking, but I was start saying in my mind, say, Father God, we need her to be healed.
Oh, Jesus.
We need her to be healed. But seeing her getting up made me more happy about the things that Apostle has said. Made my mind start thinking a lot, wondering why people want to do all of this to us. We don't see the reason why. No, because in our community, we try to live peaceful with everybody. People don't even see us on the road. They only see us when coming to church or I'm going to work. So it was puzzling to me. But it was joy to see her getting up out of the chair.
All right, so what were you thinking? Apostle said this illness was designed to kill her and then suck you, which means that it was after whatever sucking spirit, you'd have eventually died. What were you thinking, and how are you now?
Well, I started shaking, hearing all of those things. My body just feel weak, and I said, Jesus, are people really that dangerous? That's all I could say. Even when I get home, all I could sit down and say is Jesus. Jesus. That's all I could sit down and say. And I continue thinking of all the things that Apostle said to us. That's all I just sit down and said. But now, our life is way different. It moved from a lower level to a higher level. And I just want to thank Apostle for everything that he have done in my family. the blessing that He have given us also. Because even after the healing that He have given my wife and given unto me, and where I was still thinking about babies. And I know He did give us a teaching one Sunday when He tell us to rest our body and our lines.
Yes.
And I think it's after that we get our miracle. We get our child.
Okay, okay.
Which I always sit down and think and I say, I thank God for him every day.
So it was that instruction that you received. You went home, you took the instruction and you practice it.
Yeah.
And Apostle would say your fellowship afterwards, right? And here is the product
yes.
of basically what you've practiced, what Apostle has preached.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow.
So I think that's where we get our miracle, because we was trying same way. But from that Sunday, yeah, that's where we get our miracle.
Trisha, before we end this interview, do you have any final words you want to say? Well, yes, I just want to big up G-Wif once more and big up Apostle. Apostle, you don't even know what you really have done for me. And the amount of thanks that I have to give you, words can't explain. I just want to thank you and that say to you that continue to do what you're doing, to empower lives, to strengthen your people in their faith, because your words, trust me, I've never ever went to a church and see a pastor who read from the Bible and give an example. Whatever you said is in the Bible. You can show it. I've never seen a pastor done that. And I have to give big up on that. Trust me. And by your teaching, trust me, it gives me a lot of strength to move on. There's a lot of battles that I've been fighting, and because of you, I am able to fight them. And I give you thanks.
Mr. Branford, your wife is a product of how God has used Apostle in a miraculous way. I want you to just encourage maybe a man that is going through, maybe a husband, a father, a brother, that their wife, their sister, their mother, their daughter could be facing a situation that it seems as if there's no way out. Just, in short, I want you to encourage some men out there.
Well, I know the ministry that you have done for me and my wife, taking her up out of the wheelchair, has encouraged a lot of people, even friends.
Yes.
Because one Sunday, even a friend called me and said, you know, I always watch this, but I never believe. But when I see you standing there and see that him make your wife walk, is that real? I said, yes. We was going through a lot for months. And it is real. It even encouraged other friends when I showed them. Said, watch this, man of God. You can watch it online. You can watch it on YouTube. They even go home and encourage their family, which they say it has changed in their life a lot.
Yes.
So I know, without even saying and just showing them, and I have a couple members that I even invite. Okay, you know, we have our football stuff and all of that. And them come and them see and know and get the word and them continue to be there. But I encourage a lot of young men to focus on the word. And if they don't believe, they come and see for themselves.
Right.
And I would tell them, don't give up on their wife, their children, no matter the circumstance. Just trust in God and continue living on the word of God, and their life will be better.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Powerful testimony, life-changing testimony, transformational testimony from the Branford family.